Today on the Social Investing Network, so you missed out on buying Tesla stock for cheap years ago, and now you're mad at yourself. Hindsight is always 2020, but what can we learn from Tesla stock that we can apply in the future so we don't miss out on the next big thing? We discuss that, plus we get a vibe check on some popular NFT projects, and from the looks of things, the vibes are a bit off. We kick over some rocks and look at the darker side of NFTs. It's Thursday, June 9th, and be sure to subscribe below, hit the notification bell, and let's get into it.
Trying to outsmart other investors and looking for a great deal on Tesla stock, I mean, you had your chance. You know, Tesla is trading at over $700 a share right now, guys, according to the NASDAQ. But you had your chance to get it for under $100 just a few years ago. But how do we get here, and what's there to learn from Tesla's rise that we can apply to future investments? Delano, why don't you break it down? Let's start with the easy question first. What led to Tesla's huge surge in the stock price?
Yeah, Zaid. To break that down, let's take a look and a trip back in a time machine and look at Tesla, who was in serious trouble not long ago, but is now one of the most valuable automakers ever. So, in October 24th, 2019, the stock price was around $59.64, and Tesla jumped about 17% on excellent Q3 earnings, and it was mostly attributed to an unexpected profit. So this might have been a foreshadowing that the company was scaling. True. The next day, the stock actually rose another 9% following that big move that they prior. Now, in November 12th, 2019, the stock price is right around $69 a share. Tesla breaks ground on a bold gigafactory in Berlin, and this was part of their strategy to take over the EV market overseas in Europe. So this was big news also for the scaling purposes. Now, if you look at the next a couple weeks later, the stock price is right around $66. Tesla gets 200K orders for their truck, which was a big deal because the truck was unveiled via a press conference that actually had a blunder when Elon Musk promised the truck was indestructible, and was actually the window was broken by a metal ball.
Iconic.
Of the truck. But this didn't stop demand for the truck and demand for shares of Tesla stock. Now, if we look a little bit further to January 31st of 2020, now the stock has risen a little bit. So it's now we're around $131, and the trade is kind of starting to roll for Tesla, and there's optimism in China. So they've decided to move into China with the factory in around 2019. And that demand in the biggest EV market, which is obviously in China, is starting to grow, and expectations of this demand are starting to grow as well. So the stock price is starting to move higher on that news. Now, if we move even further to the summer in 2020, in July, the stock is now around $330. So for folks that were still thinking about it, it's still around $330. But the dominance in the Chinese market is starting to show itself for Tesla, right? And shares are starting to rise in that optimism. So the market value at Tesla at this time is around $210 billion. This is greater than Toyota's total market cap, which is one of the oldest manufacturers of automobiles. So you're looking at this and you're saying maybe all hail to the new emperor, because Tesla just moved and make a massive move in the stock price. Now, the big question is why the jump? And we've looked at this, we're looking at this case study to kind of figure out some of those clues for people that are looking for opportunities for themselves. I think one thing, you look at the massive demand for electric vehicles, that's the macro environment. But the big thing you're looking at, China, they moved into an area, into a geographical area that's really hard for outside companies to move into. And they did that and were able to scale and meet demand in that area, which is super, super hard for Tesla to do. There was 50,313 cars in the first 6 months that were sold in China in 2020. That's according to Citi Research. So, you're obviously seeing great demand there. I think there's a lot of other macro factors, Nicole and Zaid, that lead to why Tesla was able to be so dominant. But China is one of those bigger factors.
Wow, that was a great breakdown, great history lesson. And yeah, that the Cybertruck cracked window thing was hilarious. Nicole, what do you think is there to learn from Tesla's incredible stock climb?
Yeah, Tesla's obviously a unique story. For me, it's factoring leadership and management of a company, which is an important step. The actions of a company CEO can really determine the success or failure of a company's performance. And there sure is never a dull moment with Tesla's CEO, Elon Musk. One day he's launching astronauts into space, and on another day he's battling with Twitter to take ownership. So Good or bad moves, Elon Musk has something that I think is critical to the future of a company's success, and that's cultural liquidity. That combined with a company's good story, i.e. Tesla, and the stock climb feels kind of less shocking.
Yeah. For me, this comes down to like Tesla just being a unicorn, right? Right place, right time. They have a CEO who's eccentric. I mean, look at this guy. This guy is like dancing on stage. He has no moves, but he still tries to dance on stage. People love him for that. He has a cult-like following, 80+ million Twitter followers. They have to spend very little on marketing. And Tesla started coming up at the time when we were entering one of the biggest bull runs ever seen last decade, right? So, and then also if you add government subsidies, I mean, it all was the perfect storm for Tesla to gain traction. Obviously, Tesla had critical moments. There's him having fun at the Joe Rogan podcast. There was moments where like people thought Tesla wasn't going to make it. There was like, Elon Musk has told himself that like there was points where Tesla was on the verge of bankruptcy. So you have to give him credit for actually executing and finding their way out of this hole. But still, it's just a unicorn. And I don't know if we'll see something like that again. And but you got to give him credit. So I want to ask Delano, how do you apply these learnings that we talked about to future investments?
Yeah, Zay, that's a great question. I think, for investors, the big thing when you're doing your research, and obviously we preface this by saying everyone do their research and diligence into all these different securities that they plan to invest in. The big thing is when you're looking at early companies, the plan that they're laying out is the biggest thing to look at. Now you're actually poking holes in the plan. The big thing that everyone was poking holes into Tesla's plan is, can they actually deliver and meet the demand and scale fast enough to meet their expectations of the plans that they said they were going to do? So when you're looking at that, you're looking at the team that's actually executing. And if people believe that Elon Musk is obviously eccentric and has no moves, but the guy is actually pretty good at operating, executing, and scaling businesses. He's done that before Tesla, right? So that's the big thing that people want to assess. They believe in the management team that's planning and executing, and maybe they have too lofty goals or their goals aren't lofty enough. That's another thing you have to assess, because that will go into the value of the company if you believe that maybe they're undershooting what they can do, or maybe they're trying to kind of calm demand or calm the preface the market on what they can accomplish. Maybe you think that the shares are undervalued because you think that they can execute and do further and beyond what they imagine. I have to, admit that Tesla's probably done further what people particularly imagine they could do, Zayn. So that's something that you probably want to consider when you're looking at companies in the future.
Yeah, Nicole, what do you think? I mean, I agree with Delano there. There's a lot of things to look at. Nicole, like you mentioned cultural liquidity. Do you think that's something to take away from here and apply that same framework to, future investments or other investments?
For sure. I mean, Elon Musk is, like you said, a bit of a unicorn in this instance, but I do think that there are quick 3 steps to evaluating any company's leadership. One thing is to look out for the length of tenure. A good indicator is how long the CEO and top management have been serving the company. A second one is strategy and goals. What kind of goals has the management set out for the company? It's a bad sign if companies lace their mission with buzzwords or corporate jargon. And the third thing is compensation. Be suspicious if a manager makes an obscene amount of money while the company suffers. And if a manager really cares about the shareholders in the long term, would this manager be paying him or herself an exorbitant amount of money during tough times? These are just little things, right? Or, well, main things that you should be paying attention to while you're looking at these different companies. So leadership, guys, it matters.
You guys both bring up good points. For me, I think it just comes down to like, having a company or looking at companies that are really good at storytelling. But I just don't think you can apply what happened with Tesla to like other companies. It's just so difficult to do a one-to-one comparison. I mean, again, we talked about right place, right time. We talked about so many different factors, like all these new EV companies that are popping up, like Lucid Motors and Rivian and Lordstown Motors and all these different like companies. They're trying to capture the same magic that Tesla had. And like I was saying in the pre-production meeting, like Tesla was like the first main meme stock, right? It was the first meme stock before we knew what meme stocks were. I'm talking about like 5, 6, 7 years ago. There were people that were going all in on Tesla just because of like the Elon part of it. Also because it was a new technology. People were so excited about it. So it's really hard for me to apply the lessons from Tesla to other companies unless we see like a new company coming out with just a revolutionary technology and an eccentric CEO that has 10+, 20+ million followers on Twitter. So until we see that, I don't really know if I'm going to apply any sort of lessons from the Tesla story to other companies.
Well, moving on, this week, we covered a once-in-a-lifetime fan experience NFT to meet Mariah Carey. We've talked to Sir Mix-a-Lot about his NFT project helping colorectal cancer research. And we've seen cool digital shoes, some Batman masks, and of course, apes. But what happens when NFT projects take a darker turn? Let's find out with producer Danny in So That Happened.
Danny, we do not.
Danny's on mute.
You're on mute, Danny, I believe.
Danny's on mute.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yes, we got him.
Okay.
We missed you, man.
We previously reported on Goblin Town, an NFT project and new crypto term that some were using to mean bear market. Well, maybe hard times make for great art, or at least interesting art, or maybe just sad. I'm not really sure. I was on OpenSea checking out the top projects for the last week, and all I could think was, hello, darkness, my old friend. These are the top 3 scary NFTs, and we're wondering, laugh, cry, or maybe even buy. Okay, so the second most popular collection right now on OpenSea of the last week is called We Are All Going to Die. These characters do not look happy, sullen, downtrodden. I've never pined more for a monkey in sunglasses. Bring back the funny monkeys.
Right?
As you guys know, some critics have called NFTs BS, and now they literally are. The 5th most popular NFT collection of the week is called Shift Beast without the F. So the premise here is spending hundreds of dollars on I'm not really sure what that creature is, but it does have Dookie on its head. Not alone in the trend, guys. This is one among many new NFTs, which I'm redefining as nascent fecal tokens.
Oh my God. Do we know what the floor price on that is? It must be in the dump.
I would say do your own research, but it's not in the dump, Zaid. It's definitely, I believe it's in the hundreds of dollars. These are all top OpenSea projects. So this is the vibe right now. Though the ultimate sign of the times might be number 14th on the most popular list. And I got to give this one credit. The art is pretty great. You know, by great, I do mean utterly depressing. Depressing yet beautiful, just like my gorgeously diversified crypto portfolio. How about that?
There you go.
So I was really impressed with this one. Let's see the specific one that is just the most dark. That's right, Chipper, isn't it?
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, you guys know we've been talking about it. The markets are tough right now, but I don't know. I found this really cool. You know, NFTs are, I feel, kind of validating themselves as art. You know, this is expressive. Mm-hmm. This is a market that's showing signs of humanity. And I think it's an unexpected turn and proof positive that NFTs have added a pretty striking emotional layer to finance. What do you guys think?
Yeah. It is gloomy times right now. So, you know, art reflects reality, right? Or takes from reality, or whatever that saying is. So
what you're saying is when markets are down, buy the depressing NFTs. And when markets start getting good again, that's when all the apes with sunglasses start popping off again. So that's kind of what we're seeing right now, huh?
Well, I'm not telling anyone to buy anything, but it is pretty crazy to, you know, log into essentially or look at this financial site and be like, you know, you don't need to see a red line going downward. You just see these spooky, ghoulish dookie.
Danny, check this out. The producers are telling me that the floor price for the Shift Beast without the F is 0.644 ETH.
Wow.
My God.
Over a grand.
That is a monthly, that's rent right there, dude. Oh my God.
People are willing to pay for depression.
Yeah.
Danny, how much time do you spend on OpenSea? I'm just so curious.
You know, two or
How do you
three
find these things?
200 or 300 hours a week. You know, nothing out of control, but
Oh my gosh. Well, there it is. I mean, you know, art, culture, and intertwining with finance. So very, very cool. Thank you so much, producer Danny, for showing us that I'm gonna go get some sun now to try to like give myself a little bit of light. Anyways, that does it for the show today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yo.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and be sure to tune in tomorrow.